So welcome to my final rebuild here on NBA 2K21. Typically every year, the way I end the cycle of 2K is I go ahead and I do a fantasy draft rebuild challenge for the final one. It's nothing special, nothing too exciting. It's kind of a cool transition into the next 2K, and today's going to be no different. So you guys are seeing this one on Wednesday. At this point in time, on Tuesday when I'm recording this, I have still not finalized what team I actually want to do first into 2K22. I've also not decided whether I'd rather post a video around 2 o'clock in the morning whenever I finish up editing it and processing all that, or if I want to wait until the next day. I'm waiting on both of you guys, or excuse me, all of you guys to tell me on those answers for both of those questions. I'm going to decide that. I'm also putting up a Twitter poll shortly for you guys to let me know which team you want me to do first. I've narrowed it down to 3, as I mentioned in my last video. It's the Celtics, the Bucks, or the Lakers that are going to be coming first. Feel free to let me know your thoughts on those down below as well. And one last thing before we do get into this one, guys, I just wanted to take the time to say thank you. You know, 2K21's obviously been basically up for a year now, and it's absolutely crazy to think that, you know, when I look back, how much has changed for me both professionally and personally all in my life. So couldn't do it without you guys. I wouldn't be here without you. So I just do want to say take the time to say thank you. And now let's get into this one. So the CPU is going to draft the entire team for me. The team really doesn't matter. As you can see, we've just set this up in a fantasy draft style with basically the next gen rosters, if you will. Final team we're going to do here is the Miami Heat. I have no idea what pick they have. We'll send the draft. I'll see you guys with the squad. Draft's complete. The team is all set here. Here's how it's looking for us. Obviously, here we are led by Bradley Beal. I don't know what's up with the Beal in this roster. He progresses to like a 97. If you've ever seen any of the videos with this exact roster, I don't really know why it happens, but it does. Him and De'Aaron Fox going to probably be one of the better backcourts in the league after that entire fantasy draft. We've got Rashawn Holmes, who definitely could be my center. Hypothetically speaking, it's 2K. I could move him to the power forward spot. Pat Williams is here technically as our power forward right now. I think I'd rather have him at the 3 more, but positionless NBA today. We got Kelly Oubre Jr., we got Alec Burks, Eric Pascal, Danielle House, Teo Malden, Kevon Looney, Moore Wagner, Tyler Johnson, Lucas Samanich, and Saban Lee. So it's an interesting squad. You know, I'm probably going to make maybe a move or two before we do start simulating that first year there. I definitely don't mind Teo as the backup to De'Aaron Fox, the shooting guard spot. I don't really think I need a backup. I think Alec Burks is definitely going to have a little bit more value on the market for me. Over at the small forward spot, I don't mind Oubre whatsoever. He's definitely going to be here for at least a year just because he's on a multi-year contract. I can trade him in the offseason. Danielle House, I'm iffy on as the backup. Pat Williams, I think is going to progress hopefully very, very well for us. Obviously, Bulls, what was 7th overall? 4th overall pick. Jesus. Back in the 2020 draft, and so he can hopefully progress for us very well. Can obviously play that 3 spot as well if we need him to. And then I'm iffy on Holmes. It's not a bad contract whatsoever, so that's probably one of the enticing parts about that to keep him. You know, I don't know how well he's going to progress on this roster necessarily, but again, something we can kind of figure out along the lines just because on the multi-year deal. So might have a trade or two in the works before we do start simulating this first year. So you guys that move. So on paper, this deal might not look like it's very smart. Alec Brooks and Alec Pascal heading over to Cleveland for Zach Collins and a first-round pick. That's kind of why I'm doing this deal right here. We get that first-round pick, which ultimately, of course, I forgot to turn on previously traded picks, or excuse me, turn off rather. But, you know, we replace Eric Pascal with Zach Collins, who obviously Zach Collins I think has a ton of potential. He just seems to always be injured, which is typically a big problem in the league. And Alec Burks wasn't going to play for us. I like 9-man rotations when we have basically a superstar at one of the positions. And then that first-round pick could be valuable. I mean, we take a look at their squad. They have Kawhi, they have Tingus Pingus, Kevin Porter Jr. So is that pick really going to be worth 2.5 stars? I don't necessarily know if that's the case. It's actually going to be next year's pick because we have a draft class in here, we're still a year behind. So technically, it's still the 2021 draft coming up just with the 22 class. But Zach Collins going to come in here, going to be my backup power forward. I'm pretty sure it's the only move I really wanted to make. I don't really think I need to make many other moves. I mean, again, we do have Tyler Johnson here if Bradley Beal, you know, fouls out or whatever the situation is. And then, you know, maybe a year after Zach Collins, maybe Lucas Samanich to get that backup 4 minutes. So I think I'm comfortable with the way this team is right now. Kevon Looney's not a bad backup center whatsoever. And yeah, let's go ahead and set this rotation. All right, so year number 1 here in Miami. This is how it's going to be looking. Obviously, one of the strong suits of this team is our backcourt with De'Aaron Fox and Bradley Beal. I think these two together are going to be very, very good, you know, just playing off of each other. Followed by Kelly Oubre Jr., Pat Williams, and then Rashawn Holmes, which, you know, if for me in a fantasy draft rebuild, it's not the strongest starting 5 I've definitely had in year number 1 anyways, but it is definitely, you know, it's workable. I definitely have a lot of assets moving forward. I don't believe anybody on this team is actually on a 1-year deal in the starting 5 anyways. Multi-year deal. Multi-year deal, multi-year deal, multi-year deal. Yeah, we're good. So the entire starting 5, technically, you know, hypothetically anyways, is tradable this offseason. I'm sure I'll maybe move at least 1 or 2 of them. But again, year number 1, it definitely isn't too bad. Our bench is not great. Danielle House, Zach Collins, Teo Malden, and Kevon Looney. So that's definitely something we're probably going to, you know, have to work on a little bit more this offseason. Obviously, Alec Burks would have probably been my sixth man, would have been a good sixth man just with Bradley Beal, logging up 37, 38 minutes. I really don't need that. So that's how it's going to be looking here, year number 1 in Miami. I'm going to quickly take you guys around the league because you guys do tend to enjoy, seeing around the league, seeing where all these guys did end up. So I'm going to do this rather quickly. If you guys want to pause at any point in time, put it in slow motion, whatever the situation may be, feel free to pause. And again, I think this team's in a good spot right now. Are we going to be winning it all this year? I don't necessarily know, but I think we're in a pretty good spot to hopefully be competitive here in the East. I will catch you guys at the end of year number 1 here. So to say this first year of my final rebuild on 2K21 didn't go exactly as planned would be, a correct statement. A 14 seed here in the East. I thought this team would at least be in the playoffs. I didn't necessarily have a seed in mind per se, but a 14 seed? Don't know about that one, 2K. Jokic, your MVP in Chicago. Jalen Suggs, Rookie of the Year in Detroit. Josh Giddey, Sixth Man of the Year. You actually tend to see him win Sixth Man of the Year quite a bit on this roster anyways. Giannis, Defensive Player of the Year in Houston. Goga, Most Improved in Minnesota. And Ime Udoka, your Coach of the Year in Boston. Hell, Celtics going to win a championship. I'm never going to complain about that. We'll take a look at some numbers real quick here in year number 1 for us. Bradley Beal, De'Aaron Fox, Patty Williams, Rashawn Holmes. So I guess maybe hypothetically this team just needs a real, another score, another volume score anyways. I tend to try to have 3 guys close to 20-plus points per game, especially in these fantasy draft rebuilds anyways. Tends to be my best, formula, if you will. So no playoffs for us here, number 1. Not what I was thinking was going to be the case, but, it is what it is. And the Philadelphia 76ers and Nikola Vucevic go on to win Finals MVP. Not what I was thinking was going to happen. Let's simulate to this offseason right now. Real quickly, we'll head up to league meetings. As I'm sure the majority of you know, I tend to reject all of these pretty much every single time. And now we'll do the draft lottery where hopefully we have our pick. If we don't, I just hurt myself. And Miami Heat, we do not have our pick. I hurt myself. I'm not going to give it back to myself. I forgot to turn off previously traded picks. I'm not going to help myself in any way, shape, or form. So congratulations, Oklahoma City. You just got our pick for free. Choking a little bit. Alrighty, staff signing. Pat Riley can stay. Whoa, my God. Lost my damn voice there for a second. Spo's not going anywhere. He's got good ratings. Caron Butler's fine. Chris Quinn, a B and an A is fine by me. Kelly Bradley, you suck. We're going to get my guy Randy Martin here. And Connor Lee. So one thing that does suck for us is the fact that we don't have our first round draft pick this year. It would have been the number 2 overall pick. Definitely could have helped us in the long run anyways. But yeah, I screwed it up. I'm not going to make another team pay for it. I'm not going to, cheat the game for myself, especially when I screwed other teams as well. So yeah, we're going to have to work with what we got. That is definitely how we're going to be doing this right now. I will say we're probably going to be making a couple trades. And we're probably going to do that right now. First trade here is with Rashawn Holmes. Put up a double-double last year. It's nothing personal against him. I'm just saying if I had to choose between potentials, I think it's either Rashawn Holmes or Patty Williams. I'm definitely going to go with Patrick Williams every day of the week. So we're giving up 2 firsts and a second along with Rashawn Holmes to San Antonio. And we're picking up Domantas Sabonis, who himself averaged a double-double last year as well. And definitely a much better player. So welcome to the team, Domantas. Hopefully going to help us out of that power forward spot, which means now going to move Patty Williams down to that small forward spot, which kind of does leave Oubre as the odd man out to trade me for a center. So we're going to go ahead. Pat Williams slides down to the small forward spot. As I mentioned, I do like him a little bit better there as well. We are basically out of first-round picks, so whoever we get as our center, it's going to be pretty limited options. So we'll head up to team player options. All of these guys are going to be coming back. We're basically going to have to work with what we got. We don't really have any cap space either, so we're in a bit of a sticky situation. We have roughly, 8.9. We have $9 million mid-level exception, which isn't horrible, but yeah, we got to figure out our new starting center, and definitely Kelly Oubre is going to be involved in that deal. So here's the trade. Kelly Oubre Jr., Saban Lee, and Zach Collins heading over to L.A. for Miles Turner and Matisse Thybulle. Miles Turner's numbers, 11 and 7. That's what Miles Turner is. He's a tremendous defensive center. Obviously, I believe he led the league in blocks, or he was damn close. At one point, he was. And Matisse Thybulle, another tremendous defensive piece there at that wing spot. So, this team's it's pretty much made up, to the fullest. I wouldn't mind maybe upgrading Mo Wagner at that backup 5, but it's not a huge deal. We're going to give Lucas Samanic some minutes here, however the hell you pronounce it. And then obviously, I really do like the combo here. Of Patty Williams and Matisse Thybulle. I like it defensively a lot as well. So Beal won't have a backup. Tail Mullins very good, very much a good enough backup to be backing up De'Aaron Fox, who 35 minutes-ish around there a game anyways. So we're probably not going to maybe sign anybody. I mean, hypothetically, who are my center options? Like Cody Zeller. Honestly, I'll sign Zeller. I'd probably take him over Mo Wagner. So we're going to do that. Danilo House can let go. Same with Kevon Looney. Getting some upgrades here. Cody Zeller, welcome to the squad. I'm now going to reload in the first-round pick department and hopefully get one of those here from Mo Wagner, who hopefully, get me at least one first, probably at that 77 overall now. So Cody Zeller, another veteran on this team. We're now moving Mo Wagner to the Atlanta Hawks for a future Portland pick in a second. I'll see you guys at the start of year number 2. So we got a fresh start here at the beginning of year number 2. We've hit the reset button a little bit. We've made some big changes to both our starting 5 and to our bench. I'm hoping that it turns us around this year. We'll maybe do a little bit of a 180, if you will, and we are finally back in the playoffs. We got De'Aaron Fox, Bradley Beal. That remains the same. Patty Williams was here last year. He slides down to that 3 spot from his stretch 4 last year. And 2 new additions here in our front court. We got Indiana's front court, basically, and DeMontis Sabonis and Miles Turner. Our bench unit, Teo Malden, Matisse Thybulle, Cody Zeller, Lucas Samanic. I like the way this bench is looking, especially with the progression here of Malden. And then Matisse Thybulle is just one of my favorite players in this entire league. If I could get my favorite players in every video and it wasn't super repetitive, he'd be a guy that I get legitimately every video just because I know how he does play off the bench in this game at least. Like, he's very good. He's like basically one of the best defensive wings in the NBA, I would say. So that being said, we underperformed last year. That was an understatement. That team was not bad enough to be a 14 seed. So we need to be in the playoffs this year. I'm hoping a top 4 seed anyways. Maybe a little bit ambitious, but yeah, you never know. I'll see you guys at the end of year number 2 here. So we're still not exactly where I wanted to be. We're a 6 seed, but at least we are in the playoffs this year. I can live with that. Nikola Jokic back-to-back in the MVP department. 24 points, 14.5 boards, 9.5 assists. He's very good. Paolo Banchero, Rookie of the Year. Josh Giddey, 6-man once again. Jonathan Isaac, Mo Bamba, Billy Donovan, 65 and 17. So 47 and 35. It's not great for us. I thought this team was at least 52 wins. I'm not going to lie. Like, in my head, that's what I predicted us as, but 2K doesn't agree. We got Bradley Beal, De'Aaron Fox, both 20-plus a game. DeMontis Sabonis, he's a guy who can very much put up 20 points per game, but he's close enough at 17. I mean, I'm never going to complain about that. Miles Turner doing his thing as well. I don't really know what the problem with this team is. I really do not. Like, there's really nobody in this starting lineup, especially, that I'd be like, damn, you need to be replaced. But anyways, let's see how the playoffs go. We got Indiana here in the first round. Let's take a look at their starting 5. Oh, great. Steph Curry, they have the best shooter in NBA history. Jordan Clarkson, oh my God, they have demigod Scotty Barnes, Isaiah Jackson, and Jared Allen. We are fucked with a capital F. We lose in 5 games. Not exactly what I was looking for. Yeah, major moves, I guess, still have to keep coming. And Sacramento and LeBron James win. Oh, my fucking God. All right, so we're into our final offseason of 2K21. That feels so weird to say, man, that I probably won't actually ever really play this game again. I think I saw a tweet that said 2K22 is like 115 gigs. So I'm basically going to have to install that game and clear out a bunch of other games. But, yeah, league meetings for the final time here. We're going to reject them all. Nothing really changes there. In the draft pick department, I think I saw our logo, actually. It's that Cleveland pick that we had from last year. I think it actually has some sort of protection on it. Yeah, it's the 2nd overall pick. That would have been sick to have, but there was probably a protection on it that I just didn't notice. So, Spo's not going where. I'm very much fine with our entire staff. It's one of those teams that just doesn't do well for God knows what reason. We really don't have a ton of trade pieces. I'm not moving either of these two, and then I don't really think Zeller as the backup center is a problem. I mean, 6.5 points, 5.5 boards off the bench playing, what was he, like 15 minutes a night? That's never something I'm going to be mad about. So, we're not drafting anybody, correct? No, we are not. So, yeah, unfortunately, in the final rebuild, no draft picks. But team player options, Williams, Teo Malden, both coming back here qualifying. We're going to take, obviously, Matisse Thybulle, Lucas Samanic back. Hopefully, anyways, and now free agency where Bradley Beal's a free agent, and I'm hoping he doesn't leave me because that would be tremendously unfortunate from one. Okay, thank God. Thank God. And, oh, wow, the Kings tried to sign him to a very large deal. You want a championship, you had LeBron, but no, bring in Bradley Beal, because why the hell not? Miles Turner, also a free agent, somebody I want to bring back. I don't know. I mean, 2K doesn't really like Miles Turner at the end of the, to begin with. I don't know if he's the problem. I'm probably going to make a move, either him or Patty Williams, and again, it's nothing against him. If I could run this starting 5 and win a championship confidently, I 100% would. I just don't know if we're going to that way. So, yeah, we will wait on both of our restricted free agents here in Samanic. Oh, Mo Wagner trade exception. So, Ishmael Wright, no thank you. And obviously, I do want Matisse Thybulle back. He's definitely not getting traded. So, we have to wait till after moratorium just because they are technically both restricted and the 2K does a little glitch. And I do want to give them both real contracts. So, we'll do that. Matisse around $9 million a year. Samanic wants around, why would Lucas Samanic get more money than Matisse Thybulle? Like, can you explain that to me, too? Is it because did he score more points than him a game? Like, is that your logic, whatever it is? 4 points versus 5? Like, what is the logic there? Please, like, just somebody explain to me what logic's there. Okay, so the whole team's back. The whole squad is here. We definitely have a move or two to make. I'll see you guys with it. All right, so we are going to be doing this deal here with the Pistons. I really didn't want to include Thybulle, but in order to get RJ Barrett, who's an 88 overall, I think it's very much worth it for us. I mean, numbers-wise, it's 5 points. It's not crazy. It is a lot of value to give up, but at the end of the day, I think, as I'm sure a lot of you would agree with, 2K tends to enjoy higher overalls in your starting lineup. That translates to more wins, even if technically they're not, that much of a better player. Like, do you really think at this point in time, RJ Barrett's, 4 or 5 overalls better than Patrick Williams? I don't know about 4 or 5. I mean, like 3 maybe, but I don't know. So we also got Kai Jones, which is a decent piece, but we're probably either going to trade him or Lucas Samanic. I'm leaning Samanic just based off numbers. I mean, age-wise, money-wise is not a crazy, doesn't matter that much, but we'll see. It is the final season. So Lucas Samanich, we're going to go ahead and move on from him. I need either a center or a small forward. It really does not matter which I get right now. Bobby Portis, that's fine by me. And I will now look to sign a small forward, correct? Yes, I do need one of those. So Royce O'Neal is not exactly what I'm looking for. Maybe go ahead and I'm going to sign Seth Curry just because he's the highest overall here. And then I'm going to include him in a deal along with maybe a first-round pick or two. I only have one left. So we're going to hopefully get a small forward here. This is basically probably the final deal of 2K21 I'm going to make. How tall is Quentin Grimes? He's 6'5". I'm bringing back Alec Burks, who's 6'6". He's 32. Honestly, yeah, we'll bring him back. All right, the final trade here on 2K21 is for Alec Burks, an 80 overall. We're going to move him up to that small forward spot, and that is what our final team is going to look like here before we do start simulating that final year. I'll see you guys at the rotation. Year number 3 here, our third and final season, and technically our final season of 2K21, man. It's sad to see, but I'm super pumped for what's next. But before we do that, we got to see what this team's looking like, and hopefully going out with a championship. That would be cool to, for my final rebuild on 2K21. Finish it out with a bang, finish it out with the championship. So here's how it's going to look. De'Aaron Fox, Bradley Beal, who's up to 97. I told you the dude progresses ridiculously crazy on this roster. RJ Barrett, Domantas Sabonis, and Miles Turner, who just doesn't progress at all on this roster. Our bench unit, Alec Burks, get back on this team as our 6th man at Teo Malden, Bobby Portis, and Kai Jones. So that is our final squad here, man. It is sad to say this team has not even won a playoff matchup yet, so I'm hoping that we can somehow win a championship this year. I will see you guys at the end of my final season here on 2K21. Jalen Suggs is your MVP here to round out my final video in 2K21. We are up to a 2 seed, which is good to see. Hell, are we going to win it? I have no idea. But Suggs, your MVP. Also another one of those guys this roster just loves. Quentin Grimes, Rookie of the Year. D'Lo's a 6, Jonathan Isaac, Jalen Green, and Dwayne Casey, Coach of the Year. 66 and 16 for Detroit. I don't know who's on that team, but we were not catching them at any time. Bradley Beal, RJ Barrett, Domantas Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox, Miles Turner. Well, Sabonis more points than Fox. I don't know about that one, 2K. But, yeah, the team looks pretty good. Let's see the results, though. We're going to take on Atlanta here in that first round. John Morant, Gary Harris, LeBron is a 7 seed. Potentially one of, if not the most explosive point guard in the NBA in John Morant. LeBron James and Zion Williamson, who 2K just loves. That's what you're giving me in the first round. They're a 7 seed in Atlanta. Really? Okay. Let's go ahead and pull the trigger on this one. See how this one goes. We win in 7. Wow. Utter me shocked. I did not think that one would happen. We got Chicago here. Brickleberry, Simmons, Chris Duarte, Jonathan Kuminga, Jonathan Isaac, and Nikola Jokic. Why is the CPU out rebuilding me twice? Oh, good Lord. And we get swept. God damn it. Who's on this Detroit team? Oh, God. I'd take that. That won 66 games? And Chicago and Jokic. Oh, my God. I'm just not even surprised. So, do we end the video, or do we end 2K21 with a championship? No. Did we make a good team? I thought we did. But, yeah. I will turn it up in 2K22 anyways. So, that was my final rebuild, if you didn't hear me say it 28,000 goddamn times, of 2K21. And once more, I just want to take the time out to say thank you. It has been quite the year for me. Both, as I mentioned earlier, both personally and professionally. And I'm only looking to grow from here, man. I'm going to very much grind this game, especially when I'm not at school. I got a winter break. Obviously, we're going to have a summer after I graduate. I'm a senior at school this year, so it's crazy to think that that's... some of you guys have been watching me since my freshman year of college, which is just wild, and some of you probably even further back when I was doing this in high school. So it's crazy to me, man. It's, I get surprised at, the support I still get to this day. Every single day that I'm just... small town kid. I don't really get it. But yeah, seriously, just want to say thank you guys. It was a great year. I seriously did enjoy this year, through everything, including me getting hacked on this channel. So that wraps this one up. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys all in the next one in 2K22.